and get myself back to Zoom. And I think we're live.
Yes.
We're live on Facebook. Hello, everybody. This is Stephen Williams. They call me the Good Bishop. I'm hanging out today with, this is our millennials speak when they get to tell us what to do, and all of that wonderful, wonderful stuff. I have with me, you can see them somewhere, Joy, Jeter. She got red hair today, y'all. She had no red hair in none of the pictures that we saw. None.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We like it.
We
Thank you.
love
Thank
it. We love it. And we have Thomas Sprinkle hanging out with us. They are my guests today on the Behind the Veil podcast. Y'all know how we do this thing. Yeah, I'm just a dude, little church boy, and I'm trying to come from behind the veil to find out what's going on. But before we do, you know how I do this thing, and I appreciate you all allowing us to come into your space. I got a song that I want to do. I have a millennial son, and I was sharing with them. We're gonna find some music. Those of you who know me, you know I'm always pumping music. I love my own music, but my son is the absolute bomb. They call him Sonny Miles. He does what he does. And so I wanted to make sure that since this was his night, I wasn't going to sing the old people song tonight. I was singing one of his tunes off of his EP called Gamma. Let me, hold on. Stop playing. Hold on. Yeah, it's the Gamma EP. Now this is it's explicit. So y'all, you young people, God bless y'all. I'm the bishop. He is not. All right. But we found one on here that we wanted to showcase. And it is a song that he entitled on the Gamma project, and it's called The Kids. And so what he's saying is basically is that us grown folks, stop tripping. The kids gonna be all right. And so that's the impetus behind the song. So please, we're going to take a minute. We're going to enjoy about 3 or 4 minutes. And I want you to listen to his production. I want you to listen to his voice, listen to the words. And then we can really get into some serious dialogue with Thomas and Joy. I can't wait. So here's Sonny Miles off of the Gamma EP. And it's the song of the week. And the word of the week for us older adults: the kids are gonna be all right.
When you're running out of time as it circles in your mind, when you're deep within the lows and you're losing on the highs, when you care about the lies, when they're staying in the way, when you're stuck within the minds and you're losing your way, hey. When you got the energy and it's not within the plans and it's just within the reach, when you're losing all demand, you see that's where you'll find me, baby. Oh, that's where you'll find me, yeah. They say the kids just ain't alright, and you practice how you feel. You don't care about the lies, you just care about the deals. You see, they say the kids just ain't alright. Yeah. They say the kids just ain't alright. If the kids ain't alright, we gon' show them tonight. Need a space to breathe, I can't think. Keep my bass at ease, I won't sink. No confusions running my time, so I place the breeze throughout on my ink. They dumb it down as far as we let. We got a clown that's bound for more dead, and I go. Donnie talked to Russia before it's too late. Murder sound, but they can't kill that spirit. Rat racing just to get by. Keeping pace with all these pastimes. The lines they've been blurred is thick with these crimes. Robbing quick, so far from divine. And I've been lonely low for a minute. Got a feeling this gonna be fine. And if it's short and long for your sentence, only prison here is your mind. And I can feel notion, I can feel shame. And our truth is I can feel name. And I cannot go beyond what you know. Can I go beyond all the pain? See, I cannot find you, I cannot find you. Oh, and I cannot find you, baby, baby. And I cannot find you, baby. And then they say the kids just ain't alright. Oh, they say the kids just ain't alright. They say the kids just ain't alright. Ain't alright. Oh, baby, yeah. Oh, it feels so good to be free, baby. Baby, it feels so good to be free, baby.
That's Sonny Miles and the kids. They just ain't all right. I have no idea. I have to call him and ask him. I said, what are you singing about? But that is the concept, right? Of where we are and where the millennials are, where it's hard. It's somewhat of an interesting time for us to understand exactly where you guys come from. And I was telling somebody tonight, I was talking to your mom, Thomas, and I said, I have to practice the spirit of shut up tonight. And she was like, I've never seen you in that gift, shut up. And so I'm going to prove to the people of God that I'm
There you go.
here. Joy, thank you so much for hanging out, Thomas.
Of course.
So much. They're both born in Winston, reared.
Yeah.
Both of them come up kind of in the church. Know a little bit about that whole piece, and both of them are doing quite well right now with moving on. I'm not sure. I'm not calling ages right now, but I know this is what I do know. Y'all old enough to be my youngins, and so
There you go.
my children. So we're gonna let it stay right there. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Everybody has been chiming in, wanting to know, what are you guys thinking? I'm gonna start the question off tonight. Joyce, since you the lady of the, and we're not trying to be misogynistic, but we're trying to give you the space. So this is how the format is going to work tonight. Saints, I'm just going to ask a question, and I'm going to let them have the floor and tell us how they really feel. And so, and so here we go. First question out of the gate. With George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, this whole notion. How do you all feel? And Joy, I'll start with you. How do you all feel about this whole notion of racism, this whole thing about the cops? And we want to hear from you. You got the floor.
So I think for me, it's been a little different because I'm such like this optimistic person and kind of oblivious to like what's going on around me, always trying to see like the positive in things. So I didn't realize how bad or how real racism was until the George Floyd incident happened. And now just being in the real world and working with other Caucasians who may not necessarily agree with some of the things that I agree with as it pertains to racism, I think reality kind of set in, especially since, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement has been even more upfront and in your face now, like just realizing that this is the world that I live in. And even like now having a son, realizing how real it is for a Black male to live in this world and how he already has a target on his back. So I think for me, it's been definitely an eye opener, and it has caused me to want to really understand like what it means to experience racism and feel like this target is on your back. Because even as a Black woman, the target is definitely on my back. Even in my workplace, having to feel like I can't react to certain situations in a certain way because I don't want to be labeled the angry Black woman, or I don't want to be the person that calls the racism card on everything. So just having to kind of like tiptoe around everything. So just all these incidents that have been going on, because it's not just Brianna and it's not just George, it's so many other things that's been going on. It's just it's definitely been an eye opener for me, and just made me want to be more aware of what my culture has to go through right now.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas?
Definitely back to piggyback what George said, but it's a little different for me. I experienced racism when I was like in high school, West Forsyth. Going to Davie County and out in Davidson County, even playing football games and track meets and basketball. I used to hear like all kind of slander, and I was like, "Whoa, all right, let's back up. I'm just here to play a football game and to win at the highest level." After that went on. Then I left there, and I didn't really get it so much at West Forsyth, me personally. And then afterwards, I went to Morehouse College, and I didn't really get it there because everybody is African American, but definitely, especially now coming into like COVID-19 and pretty much nobody having nothing to do, and it's like just here in our faces. It's like put there, and we have no other chance but to ignore it. And even when I'm on the highway and I know I'm doing the right thing, even speed limit, I'm using my signal light, all of it, and I have like all my papers and stuff, I still get nervous because that could be me on that video, or even it's not a video out of me for the public to see. And what if I don't get justice the way George Floyd has? So that's scary for me.
Wow. I mean, right out the gate, y'all are wearing me out. So did you all not experience? I mean, so beyond, so George, did you not experience it, or because you all were interwoven? Like my son, he didn't understand it because he grew up on he didn't grow up on the east side. He grew up on the west side. So his friends were white, and so he didn't know what racism was, and he fought me on it until he wanted to date somebody white, and it changed, and he wasn't prepared. So was it because of the integration, if you will, that you didn't experience it, or you just didn't notice it?
I definitely think that's what it was for me, because I was going to predominantly Caucasian schools, and like for me, they were just my friends. Like honestly, it's something that you learn. Like most of them are raised to hate the other race without knowing why they're hating the other race. It's just something that their household was taught to do. And I mean, the friends that I did have, they weren't raised that way. So I don't think it's that I didn't know what was going on, but I hadn't necessarily experienced it. And I will say that I take the blame for not making myself aware of what was going on for others around me in my culture, because it wasn't happening to me. But now that, just being older and being a person that has a Black son and working with other people who are not my race and just having different conversations and seeing their experiences on stuff, like it's definitely more real for me.
When you guys talk about, and Thomas, you said you were a little nervous, when you get in the car, or your conscience. So to both of you, what does the future then look like to you? It's, like when you think of that, what is that picture going on in your mind? Because it has definitely changed. This situation has changed. And I'm interested with you being 24, 25, 26, whatever
Mhm.
that is. What does that look like for you guys in your mind? Thomas, I'll start with you.
All right, so I actually had a discussion with a couple of my friends. Like as soon as like the George Floyd thing happened, the future I definitely think is going to be better because people are more aware. There's a lot more movements and a lot more change now. A lot more things are acceptable, and we can get change a little faster now with social media. And everybody we can put out more at a faster rate. To make an impact on not just the U.S. but the whole world is like in a stand behind you. Even a soccer game, they are wearing like the Black Lives Matter logo on their thing.
Mhm.
The NBA put the Black Lives Matter logo on the courts. Little things like that. People are more aware now. So I definitely think the future is a lot more brighter than what right now may seem. That's just how I feel.
Brianna? I mean, Joy.
I I definitely agree. I feel like we realize the power that we have always had. And as far as millennials, I feel like we don't know what fear is when it comes to like we don't know what limits are.
Yeah.
I think we are living the rage that our ancestors felt. And like we're not holding back because it's been too long that the system has not changed. And I think the fact that everybody is being consistent and everyone is like not holding back, not standing down, I definitely see like a brighter future. Is it going to be soon? I don't think so. I think it's going to definitely take a while because this is years of built up, hurt and pain. And it's going to have to be a lot of unlearning to relearn for both sides. And understanding that everybody's not racist on both ends and just not feeling offended about everything. And then on the other end, like not necessarily trying to relate to what we're going through, but understand what we're going through.
Do you all
So
think
I
that
definitely.
do you think there is a because I was going to ask another question that popped up in my mind, and I think I want to hold off from that question. But what does that look like to you? Is there more of an integration for you all, for blacks and whites in your generation? Do you think there is more of a togetherness? Because it is a lot of them that's in the protests for us and with us, or seemingly. And so what does that mean? What does that look like for you all? Is that on the job? Is that relationally? Is there an intermixing? Is there intertwining that's going to happen in your eyes?
Mhm.
Yeah? No?
I definitely feel like it is like an intertwining. I feel like that's what it's gonna take. I mean, we can't do it separately. It has to be both ends wanting to understand each other. And that's just with any type of relationship, friendship, whatever, partnership, like everybody has to work for the goal that you have in mind. And if the goal is peace and equality, then we both have to understand each other. And I think that is where we lack as African Americans. We're so angry, and it's hard for us to hear the other side.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they have much to say, but I definitely feel like if we could listen, sometimes they would listen to us as well.
Yeah,
Like it has to be on both ends.
we have nothing to say.
Right. I'm not gonna say they got much to say, but
right. Because like Thomas, one of the things I wanted to ask is, and I'm gonna go ahead and ask the question because here it is. How do you all feel about Caucasian people at this particular point in time? Has your viewpoint changed? I know this ain't on our list, but y'all said we can talk about anything.
That's fine. Me personally, I've never, anybody that knows me, I'm not a people person, but if you say, hey, I'm gonna say, I've never really been a fan of like Caucasians. I went to school when I played sports with them, but other than that, I was like, I'm gonna stick with the minorities because they can better understand me than they do. If the Caucasian race actually, we don't want them to per se put themselves in our shoes. We don't want them to empathize with us. Like, listen, put yourself here. What if this happened to your son, your daughter,
Right.
your aunt, your uncle? And I think once both sides get there, like Joy said, they listen. Listening is a big thing. We learned it growing up, whether we carried it out, and probably not. Probably not. But listening is a big thing, because when you listen, and you gotta listen, you can't just listen to hear what you want to hear. You have to listen to the full story and why the other side feels the other way.
My son told me we got into a heated argument during this whole thing, and it was like, after we both calmed down, he said, "Oh, well, I think we both need to take some listening classes." And I was like, you probably right, because we were screaming. All right. So now, this is turning out to be really good for us. All right. Because it's setting up one thing after the other. And so here we go. Major question. We're gonna have all of this togetherness. Joy is so optimistic, everything gonna happen. All right. So where are we when in you all's thought about marriage, relationships, dating? We already there. Are we talking about we good on y'all? We good in the neighborhood for relationships, for marriages, for extending it? Are we talking about extending it beyond our race? Is that the concept of you all that you all are thinking? Because there's this whole notion of this swooping togetherness. And so, are we talking about going, first of all, are we okay with marriage going forward? Number two, are we talking about dating, keeping that within our own race, or we getting ready to have this smorgasbord of togetherness? What are we gonna do about that? You go, Joy. You look like
okay. I'm all for marriage. I definitely support marriage. I feel like in our generation, it has kind of like diminished its meaning and its purpose, but I still believe. Say that again.
Do you know why? Why it's diminished?
Because there's no foundation in God in a lot of relationships. And we based our relationships off of what social media says it should be, or what our friends say it should be. And nobody has like foundation in God. And the successful marriages that I have seen had a foundation in God, and in their marriage was God, and the center of it was God. And a lot of times we just forget about how important He is in our relationships, friendships, whatever type of relationships that we do have. But I am a believer in marriage. I do believe that it can be successful. I do believe that we can change the narrative of what it is right now. That divorce doesn't have to be your end story. But I think it takes us unlearning to relearn. Again, like knowing that you have to have that strong and firm foundation. Now, dating another race, being married to another race, I feel like that's a personal preference. I personally do not feel like that I can relate to another race. I feel like that deep down there are roots in other races that have hate for you, and eventually it's going to come up in a relationship, in a marriage, and I just personally wouldn't want to deal with that. But I feel like it's everybody's preference. Some people feel like that's what they prefer, and I don't necessarily like disagree with it, but I personally don't feel like I could do it.
Yeah. Now, and this was, and I forgot to say this in the onset of this, and Thomas, you'll be up next. But I wanted to make sure that that the audience understands this is just a person. This is the opinion of these two particular people. They do not speak for the whole, and so I don't want anybody to come at them and both mad or rah-rah. This is just where they are in this concept. And I want everybody to give them the opportunity to just speak their mind and speak their truth. So I love the way Joy put that. It's nothing wrong with, if that's what you want to do what you do. It's just not her preference. And so I wanted to put that caveat. All right. So Thomas, here we go. Because you are a man. You are
Right.
and here come the issue. Young men, do y'all want to be married? Dude.
Right.
Golly.
Brother.
That's a loaded question. That is that one question itself is loaded. Me personally, I believe in marriage. Like Joy said, you have to have a foundation. And your foundation. I've been watching the series actually. By Michael Todd. It's called Relationship Goals Reloaded.
Yes,
And one of his messages says, you can't have a successful relationship without the creator, and the creator is God. So if you base your relationship on sex, money, or other things outside of the creator, you're waiting for it to fail sooner or later. Now, whether you can start there and find your way back to the foundation, I believe you can. Like you said, us boys, millennials right now, we don't know anything right now except especially this day and age, is to get money. Honestly, everybody's attacking the money aspect. Everybody want money, but they're not, like George said, they're not spending time with God and actually, let me actually find a woman that's actually good for me in the long run, especially instead of she's good for me right now. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people are chasing. They're chasing a right now dream and trying to make it a future instead of yes, she may not have this asset, but she's good for me now. I mean, she's good for me later.
Gotcha. Yeah, a large part of it is a transitional covenant team long vision plan. And so you said something really, really powerful about that. And again, you guys are wearing me out because you're leading me so much from one segment to another. And I know we can ask so many other questions. There are better interviewers on here. But so what is this deal with you just want the MONEY? Like, what is going on with this narrow focus that all this is about is money? Is it because that's what you've seen throughout your Instagram, Facebook, in your videos, this whole notion of what success is that why you're chasing it? Or is it, what do you think about that whole notion?
I definitely think a lot of it plays to when we were younger, and all the rap videos, they had a whole lot of money, and people were living their life and they were doing whatever they want to do. And we were like, at one point in time, we think success is having a lot of money. That's what people think success is. The more money you have, the happier you are. So I think people think the more money they chase, the more money they get, the happier they are. Which, I don't have a lot of money, so I can't speak for that. But
I don't either.
But I definitely think the whole notion of what we've seen growing up, and just trying to make a better life. Some people don't come from wealthy families and stuff, and they just want to make a better life for their family, and they just I'm gonna do this right now to get the money and have them set, and then I'll worry about my future in the future, instead of worrying about the future now and setting it up and building upon the future, so you have a better future in the future.
Yeah. So I want to go back, Joy, because he said something. Is that the concept? So let's go back to what he said a moment ago about, in his case, his boys, what they're looking for is for the right now and not the future. Is that the problem on the dating side, where most people are just for the right now and they're not necessarily trying to build a future, is in togetherness, in what I call relationship? You understand my question? Yeah. I wanted to go back and revisit that because I thought that was a powerful statement, but I wanted to see from a female's point of view, because you believe in marriage, so you want to be married, but you need this young man to be able to connect with in marriage. And if he's just pursuing the dollars, is that a problem on your end that you are seeing in relationships? I mean, that's just
Yeah, definitely. I feel like as a generation as a whole, we want instant satisfaction.
Got you.
Like we want everything to come right then and there. Like that's on a female's end, on a male's end. We don't understand the value of like the process. And like I'll even say like what Thomas said, I think it's the same thing for women. As far as like we all about the money, like we want to get to the money. We want to make sure, because for us, like the image that has been created, money is tied to success.
Right.
And so we are driving for this success that we see on social media, that we see on the TVs. And like sometimes it's not necessarily tied to money. I was just telling my coworker this morning that I had this bad dream last night, that I had a short check and I was like running out of money. And like for me, that was like a nightmare, because like I have already been just lately just having this like anxiety of like my finances, like feeling like, okay, I want to be in a better place financially. I want to get more money, or, oh, I could just pick up a second job, just like this itch for wanting more. And I was like, you know what? Like, I need to get back in my word. Like, I really need to start praying some more, because where's my faith? Like, I'm wanting money, but that's just a resource. Like, not understanding what the source is will drive you to things that are not the source, and not understanding that God is the source will literally drive you to everything else that you feel like is the source for you. So you can have all the money in the world, but there were times where I was the happiest when I had nothing, where God supplied things that like money could not buy. And even when I had my son, being on maternity leave and not working and still having income and still being able to provide and not being on government assistance like his entire life, knowing that like God can supply without having to chase like this source that I feel like is going to maintain me. And I feel like we lack that. We don't understand that it's just a resource. Like it's not the source. And once we get out of that, then I mean, we might be on to something. But it's definitely an issue. And I feel like even us as women, we put this pressure on men to provide and have it all together. And, I need you to wine and dine me. And we ain't even got our own money. But we want him to wine and dine us and take us to Ruth Chris and pay our bills and pay for our nails and pay for our feet. And it's just like, that's not what it is. We all out here trying to figure it out. Yeah. And so when you put that pressure on a man, he's going to do what he can, especially if he's interested in you, especially if he's pursuing you, to make sure that he's going to get that done.
Yeah. So this is for both of y'all. This ain't no my question. We just having a good time. Just having a good conversation. All right. And Joy, I'll start with you. You make he make 35. Are you interested in him at all?
35 an hour?
No.
Oh, $35.
You make $100,000.
Okay.
He makes 35,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he bringing to the table. Are you paying him any attention?
I am, because see, I'm a little different though, because
but this is it's your platform.
Right. Like for me, it's about like your foundation. Like if you don't have any potential to get to that 100,000, if I don't feel like your mind has wealth in it, if I don't feel like you have a rich mentality where you want to create wealth for me and our family, then I'm not with it. But if you're comfortable with the 35, and a lot of times it's not even about the money, it's about the mindset. If you're comfortable being where you are, if you're comfortable in that $35,000 mindset, or if you want to create wealth for our family, then that's the difference for me. It's not really the amount on it.
I like that. I like the mindset versus the amount. If your mindset is still wealthy, then we good. But if
because $100,000 money maker could not be paying his bills on time and got bad credit, so you got $100,000, but your credit is trash.
Yeah. and you're gonna find out once you make 100,
right?
But you make 100, that ain't even enough. But anyway,
it's not enough.
So it's almost the same question. I mean, you know, you making it. She's not. So is it the same concept of mindset, or are you just stuck on how fine she is?
Nah, definitely not. I definitely need somebody like with a strong mind. I can't sit in a room or sit beside somebody that is just like that's like okay with being okay. I don't like complacency. I really hate complacency. You can ask my mama. I hate sitting still and I hate doing one thing at a time. I cannot sit still. My mind is always going. So if I'm trying to find ways to bring you up and you're okay with being at that 35, we can't grow.
I love it. I love the concept. That's a real that's more of a mature kind of approach to it. So
now,
go ahead.
If you would have asked me about, I said, now if you would have asked me about 10 years ago now, probably would have told you, no.
As long as she fine.
As long as she fine, I take care of everything. If I'm making 100, that's fine. We still got 135 coming in the house. As long as she fine, she can keep being fine. But I done grew up, matured a little bit. So
hey, look, I know some people in their 40s that they still haven't gotten to that point yet. So here's the fun question. Somebody told me to ask you all this, and I think this is a good place for it. They wanted me to ask you all, why do y'all think y'all know everything? Why is it nobody can tell y'all anything? Like,
no, y'all think y'all know everything.
That's the problem. There it is.
That's the problem.
There it is.
Well, look at it this way.
That's the problem, ain't it, T?
Okay.
There it is.
So they asked me, why do these people, they always think they know everything?
That's funny.
It was funny to me when they asked. And I thought about the concept, and I agree. Sometimes we do feel like we have the experience, but not necessarily, it doesn't always translate. So we try to, you said something earlier, Joe, that you all are kind of more fearless in what you and how you approach life. And I think in our day, there was more of a cautionary tale for us to approach it because of life in general. And but I'm curious, is it because because you all sound wise, but is it because of the information that you have? Like, you have more information. Is that why y'all think we can't tell y'all? Y'all don't want to listen to nothing we gotta say.
We listen though. We definitely do listen. Y'all just don't feel like we listen. But down the line, you're gonna know that we listen.
Definitely.
But no, I think sometimes it's like this rebellious thing with our generation because your generation per se, most of you do have the demeanor of knowing everything and not listening to the fact that times are very different, and we're experiencing a lot more, and we're definitely exposed to a lot more than maybe you guys were exposed to. So our approach to things are a lot different. But y'all do know a lot. Y'all have a lot of wisdom, but
you got a lot of burn.
Sometimes y'all gotta listen to us too.
There it is.
We might know a little something too.
All right, old people, stop thinking you know everything. Listen to the millennials. They got something to say. That was a funny question to me. Somebody else asked this other question, or wanted me to ask you all, do you think you are so privileged? You think you're supposed to get everything, like it's supposed to be given to you, or you supposed to turn around, it should be provided for you? Is that our fault? Because we gave it to you and you didn't necessarily, quote unquote, earn it.
Right.
And I think definitely the disconnect has been, we had to earn it. And then what we didn't want to do was, we didn't want you all to have to go through what we went through. So I think we made the mistake in giving without you earning. Like for instance, you get a phone, right? I don't know if you got a new phone. You may have gotten a new phone whenever, maybe every year, maybe every other year. All right. My generation, man, we had no phone, man. We had a rotary phone sitting on the wall. And so we want to make sure you guys get it. Most of our generation didn't have no computer when we went to college. No, we got to, especially high school, y'all got to get your laptop. You got to get, and I don't know if that was a problem that you all have this quote unquote privileged concept.
Well, I think for me, I was raised so different. A lot of my friends did feel like they were owed a lot of stuff because they were like spoiled rotten. And don't get me wrong, we had everything, but I understood sacrifice. And I understood that for me to get a lot of the stuff that I had, for me to be able to do a lot of the things that I did in school, outside of school, my parents made a sacrifice. And understanding that kind of like made my way of living a little different. Like my mama has always told me, you don't get nothing for free. You don't live nowhere for free. Don't think anybody ever owes you anything. And she's always told me I owe her nothing, even being her child. And so I've always taken that with me. So a lot of things that I have or that I've earned, I've really earned those things. Even when it comes down to having a child now, nobody owes me anything. That's my child to take care of. And that's the decision that I made. And that's exactly how I move. I get up every day, even when I don't feel like going to work, and I do what I need to do for my responsibility. And that's just the way I was raised. And I know a lot of people that weren't necessarily raised like that and had kids early, before marriage or as a teenager, and they're dependent on their parents, and they feel like their parents have to help them raise their kids, or they feel like their parents owe them something. And I've never had the mentality. And anytime someone has helped me, the gratitude that I show is like on 1,000, because for one, I don't like having to have help. But when somebody does help me, I definitely understand the sacrifice that they make, and I definitely show my gratitude. So I was just raised a little bit different. So I don't think anything was necessarily handed to me. I definitely feel like I had to earn it, and it was definitely a sacrifice made for it to be brought to me.
Okay. Tom?
Definitely, I do want to elaborate on that. So it's just like Joy. My mama made a lot of sacrifices. Like now that I look at it, I was looking at it the other day. With me playing like a lot of sports when I was younger. I thought, she bought everything, like sports shoes, even outside of sports stuff. And she just pushed everything. And like you said, y'all wanted a better life for us than y'all had. So it was like, we're gonna do everything we got to do to make sure our kids have a better life. And it's y'all's fault that we were raised this way. It is. It's y'all's fault. Even to my little sister. I hope she watching because she's spoiled rotten. Put it on live.
To the core. Rotten to the core.
She's spoiled rotten. But Joy, you know it. She's spoiled rotten.
Leave it alone.
But like I said, it's because y'all wanted to provide a better life for us. Mm-hmm. And even to tie back to your previous question, to why we think we know everything, it's not even that. It's just because we've seen how hard y'all have grinded and how hard y'all worked. We've just multiplied on it and multiplied the knowledge with the access we have, and we just doing it a little faster than what y'all are used to.
I agree with that, but Joy, you said your mama said you didn't owe her nothing. I told my son I want all my money back.
My mama told me the same thing. She said,
"When you make it, I'm sure deep down inside she feel that way.
I want my money back."
She said she wants every penny for every minute she had to push me out.
Every dime, I want my money back, and I want you to make it, and I want my check.
Right.
We ain't writing nothing. Put y'all in the home.
Horrible. Okay. All right. So that was my fun. All right, Joy, we're gonna talk about this because I want to deal with this whole notion. I'm from behind the veil. So here we go. Let's talk about the pressures of being raised in the church differently than maybe some of your friends who were not raised in the church. And how did that because I really want to ask you all how y'all feel about the church, but let's talk about being raised there and the pressures maybe that was happening, and how do you see this now? Joy, I'm coming to you on
So, I I definitely don't know anything but church. Like I was born, raised, all of that in the church. So there was this expectation from my friends, from my family, from anybody that knew me to be the good person, be the bigger person, love everybody. And I carried this out because for one, that's just who I am. Like my name is Joy. I am my name. Like, I try to always see like the best in everything. So people had this like image of me like, oh, you know, that's a church girl, the good girl, da 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 da. And then, you know, I had this prayer group and we would meet every Thursday. We were coming, filling my mom's restaurant. You know, people would come to me asking me for prayer. And it was just like, at one point, it was just like, okay, this is too much because I don't feel like I can be honest about where I am right now as it pertains to my relationship with God. And so that made me sink into this depression because I felt like, God, like I cannot fake this anymore. Like right now, I don't feel like I'm where I'm at supposed to be with you. I don't feel like I am truly satisfying you. I'm able to pray for everybody else. I don't have nobody to turn to though. And I don't know what to do. So it was just like mentally, that took like a toll on me because I couldn't necessarily voice that I was going through something because it was already this pressure of like, oh, she gonna be okay. Oh, she know how to pray. Or if you go to church, like, how can you be depressed? Like, how could you have suicidal thoughts? Like, how could you do that? So it was like I was bottling in all these emotions and all these feelings because there was this pressure of being something that I couldn't be at the moment.
So let me ask that question. Do we not make it so that you were able to come to us as a different generation, or was there just an expectation that you are going to be this believer? You know, I mean, what have we done to close that door to make it so that you were not able to say, hey, this ain't gonna work for me, or I'm struggling here?
Yeah. I think in general, your generation or the older generation,
Be mine. I'm okay tonight.
okay. I think in general, it's hard for you all to accept that we need to deal with our mental issues. And sometimes that's outside of church and that's outside of God. And so for me, a lot of times when I would voice to different people that, you know, I'm kind of struggling mentally, I'm struggling with my emotions right now, it would be like, girl, just pray. Like, you'll be all right. Yeah. And so then that for me made me shut down even more because it's like, okay, I'm trying to tell you, I can't pray right now. Like, it's a little bit deeper than this. And I think that I don't think you guys will really understand that until you get rid of the thought that just because you love God, you cannot go through something mentally, or you can't have those thoughts, or you can't go through a phase where you are feeling defeated. And it's so funny because a lot of times I'm very vocal about where I am mentally, or the experience that I've had with suicidal thoughts or depression, because I feel like there is this thing of like, you don't tell everybody about it because you don't want people to think whatever about you, or everybody has this image of like, you love God and you don't want people to not believe in God because you're going through something. But I'm a firm believer that if I voice, like if I'm transparent, that's going to free somebody. And to know that I'm only where I am because I had God with me. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't go through what I went through. Like, right. Nobody is exempt from any of that.
Yeah. I mean, and I want to, I want to say this, you know, you are definitely right in that concept. I think because when we go back through our struggles and trials and tribulations, I don't know if we dealt with, when I say we, my generation, I don't know if we really dealt with with the mental challenges that we had. You know, we hid them up under a praise and a prayer. But what I have learned in um, my years is that if you don't tell the truth, you
Mhm.
will go cuckoo
Crazy.
for cocoa.
Mhm. Mhm.
And my sister and I, and I hope she's on, my sister and I were talking about this. The only reason why I think my family, personal family, we have not lost our mind is because we tell the truth
Mhm.
and we are okay with our truth. And I just said this morning. I'm never going to let anybody. So I say this to the younger generation: don't let anybody make you um, close your truth, because we're dealing with a whole lot
Mhm.
of people who are in the church. And I'm not going to go deep on y'all, but they're spiritual, but they are psychologically unstable, and it becomes
Mhm.
a an easy part to be able to speak in schizophrenia and to the Holy Spirit. It's you speaking to two, you know, it's you speaking to somebody, but we ain't quite sure. We ain't quite what you speaking to. And so I'm finding out that the psychology and the psychosis of my generation now, we're finding out a lot of people say the word, but they don't believe it. So you are exactly right. And I'm proud of you to be able to own up to your truth and
Mhm.
help your generation. I really do. So the floor is yours, Thomas. Unless you have something else, Joy. You
No,
got
I'm good.
Thomas, it's on you.
Got you. I definitely think being raised in the church and being involved in church younger definitely set a foundation. But as I grew up, um playing sports like every weekend, I kind of, like, me personally, it wasn't on my mom or anything, just so she watching. I don't want her freak out. It went on her, but I kind of like strayed away um from like church. I was like, it's more, it to me, like on the outside looking in, it looked more ritual than
Mhm.
like actual real. So I was like, everybody doing the same thing, everybody's saying the same thing. How do I know who's actually telling the truth and who's actually genuine in God? So I was like, so let's stray away from that. And definitely think being raised in a church, it was like Joy said, you can't go through something just because a lot of, whether church people, well, whether pew members want to believe it or not, they're very judgmental. Um, Believe it or not, they judge you on what you wear to church, on how you come into church, whether you, like Joy said, whether you say something to them, they be like, just pray about it, you'll be all right. And our generation, well, listen, we pray, but we want to speak it first to somebody, like Joy, like she said, sometimes I can't pray for myself and I need you to
Right,
pray for me. And if you telling me to pray for myself and I can't, I'm gonna turn to something else,
right,
which is the
Mhm.
hard truth. So I definitely think like the older generation, like shutting us down a lot, definitely turns people away from the church, which is why you said how people are raised differently, being raised in church and not being raised in church, because outside they're like, if they're shutting you down and they're in a church and they're supposed to help you because they have God, but I'm here to listen and I'm not even in the church, which one are you gonna talk to?
right.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go talk to the person that actually listens instead of the person that's telling me, be quiet, go pray.
Got you.
Mhm.
How does that look for you all right now when you say church? Because you said something. I think the pandemic is helping God get us saved a little bit. All right,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
because people was like, well, I got to get to the building. I got to get to the building, and I said, this is Stephen L. Williams. I said, what we have
Hmm.
done is the building has become the idol,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and God says, y'all don't have me. Because you
Mhm.
act like you can't get me unless you in this building.
Unless you're in the
Mhm.
building.
And so how do you all deal with this whole notion of this ritualistic without losing the foundation and the value and the need for the church. Like, do you understand my question?
Yeah.
Because my son, I've been preaching all my life. I've been preaching all his life. And that joker he ain't doing Jesus in these four walls. Amen. At all. And, and I'm a little bit different because I told people years ago, you will not label my son on my decision.
Mm-hmm.
It was my decision to live this way. You're gonna have to let him play this out. And boy, is he playing the fiddle. Lord Jesus, he's playing all the way out. But how do you all feel about the vibe of church now? Because there's this new thing where y'all don't wear no clothes when you go to church. Y'all wear jeans, y'all wear little t-shirts. You look like you're going outside to the party. Yeah, we have dressed down
every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Ain't no dress up, and then y'all ain't dressing up for nothing.
But my question is, what does the dressing up do?
Oh, well,
like, how does it change like our hearts for God?
And it doesn't. I'm gonna tell you. Do you know the history behind why this was so? Why we dressed up? Nah. So the history behind this is that our ancestors, when they were slaves, this was the only time on Sunday that they were given an opportunity to feel great about themselves. Mm-hmm. So on Monday through Saturday, they had to dress in rags and they had to be chained up. And so what happened on Sunday, the master, if you will, mm-hmm. gave them opportunity to express themselves. And this is why you'll see somewhat my generation, but definitely the older generation, they loved to dress up because it was the point of dignity. It was the point of giving God your best. And that's the history behind why Black people did that. Now, I'm going to share something with you historically that's probably going to blow your mind away. When in Rockingham, I grew up in a small town called Rockingham, North Carolina. That's Richmond County, not Rockingham County. Rockingham, North Carolina. And it's inside a county line, and in fact, it's just inside and outside. They would dress up. You're going to trip out when I tell you this. On Saturday, they would dress up to go pay their bills. I'm talking about stockings, hat. Why? Because there was no dignity. They had no dignity. And the only dignity that they found was when they went to the church. That's why you could be whatever you wanted to be Monday through Saturday. But Sunday, you were the deacon. Sunday, you were somebody. And that's where the concept of dressing up, giving God your best, that's where that came from. So I just wanted to throw that out to you.
And I thank you for saying that, actually. And I think that's what turns a lot of my generation away from the church, because we see that people doing like whatever they want to do Monday through Saturday. We see them do whatever, and then Sunday they're front row praising God. So we're like, whoa, if you can do that,
then so can I.
So can I. But
yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you're doing it and I'm doing it, and the Bible says we're going to the same place because both of us are sinning. So why am I going to come to a building that resembles God per se? And you gonna be there, and we're going to the same place after we in our afterlife. So that's what we think from the outside looking in. But like the notion of the COVID-19, I definitely think it's brought people a lot closer to God, because we've realized now that the church is it's a place. It's not where you can receive God anywhere. And I think it's a lot deeper to receive God in your home, because this is your place of comfort. And if you can receive him in your place of comfort, now you're comfortable in your own space with receiving him, instead of, you have them at the church and then now you're driving 20, 30 minutes away from the church and you done lost them. You can't remember nothing the bishop said. You can't quote no scripture. You ain't took no notes. You ain't done nothing. But you was all holier than thou at the pulpit.
Right.
And you got home, it's like, that was a good word. What do you think about? I don't know. But now you're home, you're forced to sit on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta because you can't go nowhere. Ain't nowhere
You
to go.
can't go
Can't go nowhere.
Ain't nowhere for you to go.
But if you watch them, you still in your bed. Then you like, wow.
So here, and I'm a church person. I love church. Now I'm with you all. I've gotten to the point where I don't. I'm almost finished with the tie and all that good stuff. I'm like, I've been struggling, and they will tell you. And I'm a duly consecrated bishop, Joy. I mean, I got everything.
all that.
Girl, I got it all. And I think Thomas has maybe seen me in it. I mean, the guards, the robes, the cross. Look, I struggle with the collar right now. I was like, just give me my coat because I done found out, this just ain't working for me. And I think y'all done messed around and made me start dressing down a little bit more. And I'm starting to like dress down a little bit more. I ain't at the t-shirt yet.
You'll get there.
Yet. I'm at polos, but I'm getting there.
You can do the t-shirt with the suit now. That's what we doing.
I can do the t-shirt with the suit. Now I'm down with that. I'm down.
That's what we doing now. That's a fashion now.
I'm looking for a chain too. I need to get me a nice chain to go. No,
Jordan. If you watching Jordan, don't let him. Jordan, don't let him. Kid, mama, don't let him get that far.
Don't let him go that far.
Nah.
Oh God, that is too funny. So tell me now. I mean, now that this whole notion of this church is different, yes. So you want to be in church, out of church in a matter of 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or you rather do this online? What? Tell us what you're thinking.
I miss church. I miss church. I am the type of person like I love the online thing, but that was more so for my week fillers. I didn't want to be online every Sunday. Like I miss the church. I just miss being around a community that are worshiping. Like I love to worship. So my favorite part of church is praise and worship and like just being in the atmosphere of people that are just all in and laying it all down for God. Cause I'm definitely I have such a sensitive spirit. So I feel so much of what people are feeling around me. So just to feel the weights that people are releasing to God, that to me is like encouraging because sometimes I can feel a weight of somebody else and I'm like, dang, like, I don't see how you carried that all week. Like, but just to see like people just releasing everything to God and just being in having that community and having those accountability partners, like I miss that so much. But I definitely feel a lot closer to God now that I'm not in the church because I'm not thinking about what I'm wearing to church. I'm not thinking about who's looking at me when I'm watching church or when I'm lifting my hands or if a word got good to me. I'm not worried about all the extras that we're usually worried about in church. So I definitely feel like it's more sincere.
Yeah, it's definitely less distractions to me. So Thomas, how you feel about that whole notion? And then I'm gonna ask y'all a deeper question, and then we're gonna get to it. This is good, ain't it?
Yeah,
it is. I definitely like Joyce. I definitely miss church. Here recently before the COVID-19, I never like to get to church early. I never did. Like the long prayers before church and all that. I never liked it. But here recently, I was like, I need deeper prayer. Like I can't just show up to church and act like everything is okay. So I went Mount Zion and I went to prayer and it was like, whoa, these people are like, it's not just me. And to get that connection that you're not alone, it's like I'm here now, like I'm free. Yeah, the God is not just confined in one building, but I feel sacred here. Like this is where I can come. This is like the image that we've been like. That's been instilled in our heads that this is where I can come to actually just lay all my burdens down at the altar and just here it is. Here you go. It's yours now. And I definitely miss that. I definitely miss being at the altar, kneeling, listening to the word, listening to the sing, like Joy said, listening to praise and worship. Because praise and worship is a little different. when you're at home than when you're actually at church.
Right.
I definitely feel I can connect a little more if I'm actually in the atmosphere than if I'm watching it online, like on my TV, and I got my phone in my hand. I'm connecting, but I'm not connecting. So it's a little bit of disconnect somewhere.
Yeah. I think it is the atmosphere. I think it's the atmosphere that is that's what's missing. You know, and it's something to be able to push it out electronically, but it's different when it's in the room. You know, when you're not in the room. It sounds to me like you guys have a different perspective of God versus church. Talk to me. How do you all view God relationship versus just the institution of the church? If you understand what is my question. Okay. Because y'all a little different. I should y'all a little different.
I'll say for me, like I said, you know, born and raised in the church, you start to learn like habits. You know when to clap your hands, you know when to say hallelujah, you know when something supposedly feels good to your spirit. A lot of times, like even now that I have like grown spiritually, I'm realizing that a lot of times, even with praise and worship, I may not have cried off that song because it really touched my spirit, but just from being familiar with it, and associating it with whatever emotion that I've seen other people have with it. But now being in a place where God brought me to a place where only he could bring me out of, it just changed my perspective of like what a relationship with him really was. Because I could go to church every day and it does not compare to the moments that I've had with him the moments I couldn't have with anybody else. Right. And like, I couldn't fake it no more. Like I got to the point where it was just like, okay, like I can tell like this not real. Like this right here is not real. So God, where do you want me to be? Because I don't feel like I'm where you want me to be. And like to really dive deeper into my relationship with him, I'm like, okay, so this is what a relationship with God is, because I don't think I was doing that before. Because now I really feel like I can come to you. Now I really feel like, oh, my God got me. Like, I'm not worried about this no more. Like, I'm not going to worry about the minor things. Like, I truly feel like I have found a best friend in God. Like, truly feel like he understands me. He gets me.
So do you all think, though, that the thing now that you don't really adhere to, and that is this notion of how we raised you all, but it seems to me like how we raised you all really shape how you think now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
The thing that that you didn't like, or know, things that you really didn't like, the foundational part of what we did, it seems now to be like, you know what, I'm glad I did all of that. Now I agree. We taught you all the antics of church, and it is very difficult to teach relationship. You know, you have to learn really. But I think the foundation of going to church and dealing with that whole notion helps us, because I think that's the only thing that kind of helped me find God. Yeah, you know, and it's the thing that I didn't want and didn't like, but it was the thing that helped me. And so I just wanted to put that point out there for you guys. All right, Thomas, this whole notion about God, I'm gonna let you.
Got you.
Wait a minute before we go, Joy. People on here talking about you need to sing before you leave. So
she was going to. There we go, Joy. There we go.
You need to find a hymn or something.
Not a hymn. Not a hymn.
Well, she can't sing Get Down On It. This is behind
listen, not a hymn though. Okay, we got a lot more younger artists now. So,
Lord.
This is the millennials there. Okay,
find you a praise and worship song.
Ain't no more. We got instruments now. Okay, we're not and no more hands and feet no more. We got instruments.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Thomas. Okay.
So definitely like Joyce said, a relationship with God is definitely different now. Because like the institution, as you were referring to, is what people see. And it sucks. It's like that's where they go to get God, but they leave and they don't actually have a relationship. Like if you ask the person that's in the pulpit that's been doing all the hallelujahs, been at everything else, and you ask them outside of the doors of church, hey, can you lead me to God? They're gonna shut you down. And I definitely think a relationship is different now. Especially with me, especially the past was like 2-3 years. With everything that my mom's went through, everything with my aunt passed, and I'm like, whoa. When my mom got diagnosed with cancer, I was like, look, God, you took her out of breast cancer. I was in high school, and now you're hitting her with another cancer. Now I'm like, listen, something ain't right. This is not you. And I was like, I have to do something, or I felt like it was something that the doctors wasn't telling us about the diagnosis process or what's happening. And I actually had to sit and like it was nights I cried because like you think cancer, especially this much cancer, it's like all I know now is death. And I was like, I can't lose my mama. I can't do this. Because without her, I might break down. I know for a fact I'm gonna break down. So like it was nice. I was like, listen, I don't know what's going on, but I have to connect with something. And I was seeing her playing my game one night, and I was like, I just couldn't play no more. It was like it was thoughts overwhelming me, and it was like I can't. I have to go to something else. So I sat here and I put gospel music on, and I actually had on like some R&B. And I was like, I can't listen to that. I can't focus on my game. And I was like, I have to have some gospel music. And I was sitting here, and for some reason, I just started crying. And I was like, whoa, this is different. And I couldn't figure out why I was crying. And it was like after a while, I was like, this is like an actual God saying, you know, I got everything. Everything is taken care of, and I have the final say. So yeah, the doctors may have diagnosed her with something. Yeah, they may have said something, but at the end of the day, they're not me. And I had to actually realize that, and that's what grew my relationship with God even deeper than it was before.
Gotcha. Yeah, because struggle has a way of making you find. Wait a minute, take it from the old people. Struggle has a way of making you find God. Okay.
Yeah.
It's trials and tribulations will make you find God. All right, this has been so good, and it y'all ain't gonna believe, like it's time for us to go. Can you believe it? So everybody's like, no, don't leave. So here, Joy, you're gonna go first. All right, I need you to talk to us. What is it that you want this old generation to know that we just don't get about you guys? What is it that you want us to know? What is it you want us to think about? What is it you want us to consider when we are handling you all? How we should think about the millennials and because you've already told us you don't dress, you ain't dressing no more like that. You already told us. I mean, I can't believe Thomas told us don't be singing no hymns. Talking about we got young people. What the world? You already told us we don't listen. So older people, we got to exercise the spirit of shut up and listen to see what y'all got to say. Now we want y'all to do the same back to us now. Be tripping. But in your final thoughts, like, do you all have something that you want to address to us, that you want us to know, or you want to say to this generation about where you are, what you think, who you are? Just give me an overarching picture, and then I want you to all let's answer that, and then we'll come back with one last thing.
Okay. I think first I want to say thank you from our generation, because y'all have planted so many seeds into us, into our world and everything. And it's the reason why we are able to progress as quickly as we are. And I'll just to piggyback on what we were kind of talking about before, even though some of the things y'all may have made us do church-wise, we may not have wanted to at the time. I'm thankful for the seeds that were planted into me. And I always say, like, I'm so thankful that my parents introduced me to God.
Yeah.
Because there are some people that don't know him.
Yes.
And they don't understand who he is. And so I'm thankful that I was able to know who he is and then choose who he is to me for myself. So thank you for that. But overall, I would just say, be slow to respond and quick to listen to us. And know that the same way that you had to go through certain things to learn and to grow, we do as well. And don't try to help us to avoid those struggles, because that's what's gonna create us, and make us the people that we are, and the strong individuals that are God-fearing and help us to get through things and know that God is with us. We have to go through some things. So let us go through some things. Let us get through some stuff. It's gonna hurt y'all, because I know, like, I don't ever want my baby to go through nothing. But I'm gonna have to let him, because that's how he's gonna know who God is for himself. And so it's just kind of the same thing for you guys. Like, just be slow to respond and quick to listen. And we thank y'all.
well, old people, I got a scripture for you. Jesus learned, and I think this is the first time I said anything, but he learned obedience through the things he suffered. You can't learn to be obedient until you deal with how you suffer. You cannot escape it. So excellent. Thomas, on you.
I definitely would say, just to let you guys eat, like, we got this. All right, we got it. Y'all can relax. You feel me? Y'all done live. Y'all can chill out. Okay, we got it. Right? That's what I want to say. Every older generation, like, we got this. Like, let us, like Joy said, let us go through our struggles. Let us go through our trials and learn from those, because the best teacher is failure. If you don't fail, how can I know how to overcome the next time it comes around? Right. Like, y'all be so quick to, hey, don't go here, or this will happen. And in a sense, you tell me not to go there, I'm gonna go just to see what happens. So you don't waste your breath of telling me not to go.
Rebellious.
So we're gonna go anyway. we're gonna go anyway. But like I say, just relax. We got it. Like, y'all didn't taught us so much up until now that I think that y'all think y'all haven't taught us enough, and y'all actually taught us too much. Yeah. Per se, because now it's like, my mama told me not to do this, so I ain't gonna do it. Right. And we like, so we hold back sometimes, and y'all are so like, hey, don't do it. We're like, hey, relax, we got you. And I want you to know, like, the bigger picture for us is what's greater. We do think, we do want to help you guys out in the future, so y'all won't have to work as hard when y'all are older. That is the millennials end goal. That's why everybody grinds so hard. And what we do.
Is that it? That's good stuff. Listen, I appreciate you all. I wanted to give a shout out because I saw in here Pastor Pierce and Lady Pierce.
Yes, that's my pastor and co-pastor.
There we go.
I want to make sure that I give a shout out to them. They're doing excellent work. We appreciate you, Stephen Williams.
Mount Zion.
Y'all are doing an excellent work. Continue to do what you're doing. We appreciate you outside of Mount Zion, and this is a product of that. And there are other products that you're touching. So please lift up your head. Let me encourage you all. You lift up your head and keep grinding. The wine has had a song. For you may never know all the lives that you are reaching, and just keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you. We are loving you. And these are products, not only of their parents, but they're now in the capable hands of Pastor Brian Pierce and Lady Pierce. And so we thank God for you guys. We can give a shout out to Mount Zion?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I love Mount Zion. That's why I go down here.
First can sing too. I know Pastor can sing, but first can sing. All right. Having said that, now y'all gave us what we know, and I know I'm a little bit over my time, y'all, but this was so good tonight. And I usually end with a song, but eyes don't have to do that tonight
There you go, Joy.
because we got the most honorable. Don't sing on the praise team yet at her church. Joy Jada. And it has been requested that instead of us doing the song going out, that you be the song going out. I want to thank you. I appreciate you all for taking the time and the courage to come on and just talk a little bit to my audience. There is no way I can capture all of the things that you all may want to have talked about. We only touched 8 questions. And man, we got a whole lot more we can talk about, right? But I want to thank Joy. This is my first time meeting her, and it's like we knew each other right up. And of course, Thomas, I've known you, and I'm just so grateful for you both and everything that you've said. And I think this is going to be a wonderful thing that we can share, and hopefully it'll open up other doors that you all will be able to tell. Oh, before you sing, Joy, come on, give people, if you want people to be able to give your information, if you want Facebook or Instagram. I don't know if you want that. I don't know if you want to do that. Cool. Go for it.
My Facebook is Joy D Jeter. Instagram, I think it's Joy Bell 19. I didn't grow up yet. So y'all can add me on there.
Hook her
I'm
up.
always willing to grow relationships.
Good deal. Thomas, you wanna?
Got you. Y'all can definitely add me on Facebook. I may not get to it right away. I know I have a couple that's pending. Just add me on Facebook. It's Thomas Sprinkle. Instagram, not so much right now.
Okay. I just want to give you guys an opportunity to make sure. Listen, you all support these young people and whatever it is that they're doing. We didn't even get to their grind and how they're grinding. We wanted to just make sure that we had this conversation. I am so grateful for you both. Thank you so much for talking to Stephen Williams, the good bishop. Joy, you are taking us out of here with whatever it is you want to say. Thomas has already said it can't be no
Not a him.
Not no him.
Y'all don't know no hymns. That's all. Don't be messing with the hymns. Don't.
You may be right. We ain't open that red book.
Y'all ain't
Right.
That's a big book. We ain't opening that.
That's so crazy. We ain't opening up the red book. Lord have mercy. Oh God. So Joy, you have the floor. You can take as long as you want. You can take as short as you want. I think people want to hear your voice, and I thank God for you guys and the anointing that I feel from both of you. And I pray for much success in what you're going to do in Endeavor. And like I told you both, if there is anything, whatever gift I have, whatever thing that you need, if you ever need anything from Stephen Williams, you all have access, and you'll find out I have a plethora of gifts. So if you ever need anything, make sure you call me. All right? Joy, you got the floor.
Okay. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Lord, you're perfect in all of your ways. You're perfect in all of your ways. You're perfect in all of your ways to us. You're perfect, you don't make mistakes. You are perfect, you don't make mistakes. You're perfect in all of your ways to us. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. So I am. So I am.
There we go.
Thank you.
There
That's what the
we
people wanted to
go.
hear.
Pastor Pierce put on something.
Thank you.
Excellent voice. This has been an
Thank you.
absolute joy. No pun intended. This has been an absolute joy for us to share tonight. What beautiful gifts you all have, Thomas. I know you're a brilliant young man. Joy, you are definitely brilliant, and you're
Thank you.
a wonderful singer. You have a great voice.
Thank you.
Both of you, I pray for your anointings. I pray that you would do great things again. I appreciate you. I thank you. We're leaving off tonight. We're a little bit way over our schedule, but that's how millennials they are. They like to control everything and they way. No, I'm just joking. I love you guys. I appreciate you. We signing off of Facebook, y'all. We gotta go. Joy has taken us out, and it is who he is, and we love you, Father, for all that you've done. We appreciate you all. Until next appointed time, this is Stephen Williams, the good bishop, signing off. God bless.